Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to the Sweetwater Minute. We're at GearFest 2016, and bassist extraordinaire Bunny Brunel is here. Great to see you.
Great to see you.
Absolutely.
Great to meet you, Mitch.
Well, nice to meet you as well. A pleasure to have you here.
So famous, everybody told me you do all those interviews and all that.
I don't know about famous, but I'm here. And I get to talk to you.
You're supposed to say yes.
Oh, I am famous.
Yeah, no.
Not at all. You're famous.
Yeah, somehow.
Incredible
yes.
career.
So yes, it's true. I was fortunate.
Yeah.
To play with the greatest jazz musicians and more.
Right. Chick Corea, Herbie Hancock, Jack DeJohnette I saw on the list.
Yes,
Is an incredible
Wayne
Herbie.
Shorter.
Right, Wayne Shorter, Mike Stern.
Joe Farrell.
Incredible.
Joe Henderson. And the people don't know because I look fantastic, but I'm actually pretty old. I played with Dizzy Gillespie.
Wow.
And Milt Jackson.
Wonderful.
Back in France, so.
Had to be amazing experiences to play with those legends.
Oh yeah, it was great,
Yeah. So how did you get started playing bass?
What happened as in college, I graduated from college hotel. I can actually run hotels. I know everything about hotels and cooking.
Nice.
And they had a band. I joined the band playing the guitar. I was just strumming chords. Looking cool. There is a picture on my website with me playing the guitar with the dark glasses. Looking very cool. And one day they told me, "Oh, all right, we'll give you some money. You go to that place, rent an acoustic bass because one of the students going to play the bass." So I went over there, brought back an acoustic bass. And they say, "Here's the bass." And they say, "Well, he's not coming. Why don't you play?" And okay. So I started playing the bass. That's how I started playing the bass, and I was good at it very quick. Somebody lended me an electric one, so I started playing with the electric bass and all that. And after a few weeks, I was really good at it. It was definitely the instrument I should have played, know. And after a little while, I was the best in town playing the bass, and I put band together. Had a band playing James Brown music because I like the bass lines. It's not to put the other band down, but the Beatles at the time, and everybody's like boom, boom, boom. But James Brown's I love that, so I start playing that music. Otis Redding, all those guys, Sam and Daves, Wilson Pickett. So that's how I learned how to play, the electric bass. And at the same time, I was listening to Oscar Peterson with Sam Jones on bass, and I was trying to play the bass line like Sam Jones, and I was playing both instruments at the same time. And that really helped because playing the electric bass, then you get familiar where the notes are and all that. And I would kind of mix the technique of both from the beginning, And after that, I went to the Nice Conservatory because I wanted to learn how to really play the bow and all that,
Right.
So, and there was a 3-year course. First month, I was in the first year, playing, practicing. The second month, they put me on the second year. And the third month, they put me on the 3rd-year course.
Wow, that's an accelerated education.
Yeah, so I did only 1 year. I was because I was very good at it. I could play easily. It was easy,
Yeah.
That was the thing to do, Hopefully, I found the right instrument for myself.
Right.
Obviously, I should say.
Yeah, it came very naturally to you.
Yes, and then you go to Paris. That was the place to go. First, I was working on all the casinos like Monte Carlo and all that playing. And then I went to Paris because that was the place to have all the recording sessions, and I was doing recording sessions, and then I played with some famous French singer and played a lot of recordings with some people that I don't even know it's me and playing the bass because French people, the way they look at it, you go in the studio, they put headphones, you go with your P-bass, plug the P-bass in the direct box, and they put music, and you cannot play anything else than whatever is written. And you have no control on the sound beside playing it with your fingers. So did a lot of recording and I have no idea for whom it is. A lot of pop French singers and all that. Some of them I know who they are, but most of them I don't. I don't even remember.
It's kind of anonymous.
Yeah, because you don't even go in the control room, You go out, sign the paper to get paid, and next, or whatever it is. So I was doing that for a while and I got bored. And then I started playing in some clubs. I had a band playing in a very famous club called the Bilboquet that ended up closing this year, I believe, whatever. Playing some jazz, and that's, I met, different people. I played with the pianist, very famous Joachim Kuhn, jazz German pianist, amazing, with Daniel Wimmer we played, and a killer violin player, Zbigniew Seifert, and we do touring, And then over there I met a Brazilian lady called Tania Maria that was touring also. I played with her touring, And we were playing in London at the Ronnie Scott Club, the famous Ronnie Scott Club.
Sure.
That's where Jeff Beck did his last video, was over there.
Right.
So I was playing there. And my friend, now, I didn't know who he was at the time, Patrick Moraz, keyboard with Yes and the Moody Blues, was there every night, And I was more into the funk and the jazz, so I didn't know who he was. And he was coming, he was having cognac, over there. I said, hey man, there is only Stanley, Jaco, Jeff Berlin that I didn't know who was at the time, and you. I said, oh yeah, thank you. And I was like tapping, yeah, you're so nice, and he was there every night. And on a Saturday night, I said, oh, sorry, tomorrow I'm not going to be able to come. I say, okay, I'm going to see Chick Corea. I say, oh, hey, that's going to be better. Please, go see Chick Corea, And he said, oh, yes, but I'm going to bring him. He has to listen to you. And so, oh yeah, bring the whole band. And I had no idea that was his friend. And Chick was actually looking for a bass player to replace Stanley Clarke. And he came, and that's how I met Chick Corea. He heard me. He said, "Oh, that's that's what I need,"
Wow.
And that's a couple of months later, he called me and went to Los Angeles to record Secret Agent, the album. And I'm still here.
Those were big shoes to step into.
Yeah, exactly. And after that, because playing with Chick, I end up meeting at the rehearsal. They were doing a rehearsal they were doing it was a special concert, with Al Jarreau, Stanley Clarke, and Tony Williams, and Joe Farrell on the saxophone. And that was when Stanley had a quiet afternoon that hit. He had that where he played the piccolo bass. And Stanley called me and said, hey, come at the rehearsal and play the bass, because I'm going to play the piccolo. You play the bass. So I went over there, and I ended up meeting Tony Williams. So then I went out with Tony Williams. I was touring while Chick was doing duet with Herbie Hancock. I was with Tony Williams. And that's why I keep meeting all those guys and playing. That was great, And then I did a tour with Herbie Hancock and Wayne Shorter, European tour, and But in between, I play with other people. I actually did some playing. I actually had the pleasure to play with Stevie Wonder, and it was a special concert for the Naras, doing a tribute. And he was playing one of the songs, so I was the bass player there. I played with a lot of really nice people. It was fun.
Right, that's amazing. That's amazing.
You know.
So clearly you have to be prepared when the opportunity comes along to be able to say yes and step into those kind of gigs.
Well, you cannot say no.
Right.
You gotta do it. So it's just.
Right.
And people ask me all the time, but how long were you practicing? Because the idea is just to do what excites you, the best way of your abilities, without having any thing saying, oh, I'm going to play with, I'm practicing because I want to play with so-and-so. No, you don't put anything forward. You just practice your art the best you can with no expectation. Because expectation stops you to achieve what's supposed to be achieving. And we don't know what it is. Your higher self knows it, but you don't know. So if you start putting expectation, then you block the way it's supposed to be going. So for me, I didn't know that's the way it worked. But that's the way I was practicing, 10 hours a day. I was wake up in the morning, play the bass, lunch, play the bass, it's just go to bed, I wake up, start again. That's what I was doing, playing the bass, because I wanted to play perfectly, the bass. I was listening to some people playing, and I always were wondering at those Pride bass solos, because they were not really playing bass solos on the electric. They were like a kind of mystery solos, you know. We used to listen to some solos, boom, 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 boom. And I said, no, I want a solo like a Herbie Hancock, like John Coltrane. That's what I want to play. And that's how I developed the way of playing solos on the bass like that. And which happened, you know, then listening to Stanley, I love Stanley, and one of my favorite bass players solo is actually Eddie Gomez. That was phrasing and all that. Somebody would play phrases and all that, so I love that, you know.
Sure.
So that showed me the possibilities, because I don't play like Stanley at all or Eddie Gomez, but I knew that, oh yeah, let's keep going. You can do it. These people doing it, you can do it, you know. And I keep doing it. I keep going for my goal, you know. And the thing happened. The fact that I met Chick Corea, it's because I didn't put any expectation. But when I think about back, oh yeah, nothing better could have happened. That's the best thing.
Right.
But I didn't put the thing out. I didn't know I was going to play with Herbie Hancock or those people, or Wayne Shorter, or Tony Will. I didn't know at all. I was just trying to do what excites me the best way I can do it, and that's the way to do it. People put too much, you know, things. You say, oh, I want to go to New York, so I'm going to get a job, then I'm going to save the money and I'm going to buy it. No. I want to go to New York. Just concentrate. I will go to you put, you know, to the result in this case. Don't try to put the thing in between, because you don't know how it's going to happen.
Sure.
You never know. Maybe you get a job, they send you to New York. You have no idea. You know, you understand what I mean?
Sure.
No thing in the middle that stops everything. And I keep telling that to people. You know, it's good that you're trying to play like somebody, you listen to somebody, and it's great, you know. For me, listening to all the bass players of James Brown, you know, Bernard Odom, all those guys, you know, listening to their bass line, that was a learning process, you know. And I keep doing things like listening, oh yeah, I like this one. It was not especially one music, but when I heard something that was interesting, you know, I would listen to it. I liked Blood, Sweat and Tears. The bass player was really interesting bass lines. I liked what he was doing.
Right.
You know, that's not what people would call a virtuoso. I think his name was Jim Felder or something like that. But he played some stuff like nobody else played before. It was interesting bass lines. And, you know, I would pick up things here and there. And I really liked the Paul Jackson, you know, of the Headhunters, you know. I like the way he played I like his bass lines, you know. You know, you have all those things, so you take little thing here and there and you make your own out of it, you know. So, and of course, Jaco, what happened is just like when I was, you know, in the South playing, you know, and one day my keyboard player came to my house, you know, he come in, he said, oh, listen to this, there's somebody playing like you. And that was Jaco's album, and I put a Jaco album and say, oh my God, the sound and what I loved is the melody. That guy just, melody is so beautiful. The solo, oh yeah, that's the way to do it. Let's play some melody. And that's what I got, because I was already playing like a Battle of Hell. So I didn't need to try to play what he played, and actually can't do that. The guy actually has amazing technique, you know, he played things perfectly. I consider him like a classical pianist master, you know. He just plays the same thing, and he makes it sound new every time. He's just like, you know, perfect, you know. Me, I'm a jazz guy. I cannot play twice the same thing. I don't remember. But that guy just played it perfectly, and the melody is always like creating those amazing things. The musician was incredible. Just the tune that he composed, the chord change that he put, Tin Town, you know, the 4 chords is like, how did you get that out? You know, so you know, that's why I appreciate that type of thing. But I already had my own style playing. So I didn't have to get what I call for a while the Jaco disease. I could hear people, they were playing all his bass line, they were trying to fit his bass line in totally different, no, just make something else, you know. So I never got that, because I was playing all that funk and all that, so I had the way to play, you know, so I kept that. but I like the melodies. I just, oh yeah, yeah. And it's funny, the first interview I ever heard of him, he actually give the trick to people, and he went over their heads because people heard, but that's, you know, he was saying, what do you like? He said, I like Frank Sinatra. And that's what he did when he plays the solo. It's just like a crooner. And it sounds great on the bass. If you would do that on the guitar, it wouldn't be the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But on the bass, it's just like a crooner he plays. And you say, let's play like that. Let's play those melodies.
Right.
You know? So you have to take things that people do good, you know, try to find, you know, and mainly, if you want to learn how to play the bass first, please. I see those people, there's a bunch of people who have a technique from hell. They can play solos 1,000 miles an hour, but they forget to play the bass. You want to play with a band, you want to, well, you're going to have to groove, you got to have the pocket, you're going to nail it down, you know. I tell them, you want to slap, listen to Freddie Washington, listen to Marcus Miller. These people are playing the bass, you know.
Right.
They can do something else, like Marcus can do. He actually can play Tin Town slapping, which is quite amazing. But when he plays the bass, he's playing the bass. Stanley is the same. When Stanley plays the bass, he's playing the bass, electric or acoustic. You know, I think on the acoustic, nobody can beat him. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
His fingers are like at least an inch longer than mine, you know. It's just like that's the right size for him.
Right.
And he's like slapping on it. So anyway, but when he plays the bass, he's playing the bass.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the right sound, and he's just grooving in the and that's the problem with a lot of guys. You know, they start slapping, you know. No. Listen to people who slapping, who's doing it, you know, with the pocket. You know, Victor Wooten can do some amazing thing, but when he plays the bass, he's playing the bass.
Right.
And that's why the guy is great. You understand what I mean?
Absolutely.
And then you have the people with the fingers who plays you know, that's why I like the Paul Jackson, killer pocket. That guy doesn't solo at all, but the pocket. Always an interesting bass line. That's why I liked him, because he played some stuff that nobody else ever played, you know. He just came out with something totally new.
Right.
You know, so it's just the thing, you know, you pick up the best of everybody, and then you're never going to play it the same way anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So you make up, you know, it's like a brew, and you will come out of the brew, you know, you're making it like that. And that's what I did. I just played all that music, listening to all those bass lines, Chuck Rainey.
Right.
That was the, you know, the rhythm section with Bernard Purdy, the groove, you know. And it's funny, one day I was walking through at the NAMM show, they have the Hilton, and at night they have people playing. And I was just walking through, and I was listening to the drum beat. I said, it picked my hair. I said, who's that? Bernard Purdy.
Ah.
I could tell, you know, like freaking pocket.
Right.
You know, it's funny. I could hear it. I said, I had to look. Who's that? Because it was good. It was perfect.
Right.
And it was Bernard Purdy, of course.
Sure,
you
well,
know,
that explains
like, you know, freaking pocket from hell. You know.
Right. Right.
You know, so.
Right. So you are involved in a lot of education. You teach students.
Yes.
You do Skype lessons.
Yes, I do that, and I have a few books. I don't even know how many. You know, I have a few books that with Melby and with Al Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll keep helping people, and I always teach them everything I know. You know, some people ask. It's funny. It was Phil Joe Jones was showing everything to their teacher, and people say, "Why do you show all your tricks and everything?" Well, he said, number one, they're never going to play it the way I play it. Number two, they're never going to put it where I put it. And number three, if they're lucky to play it the way I do it and where I put it, people's going to say, oh, Phil Joe Jones. That's the best, you know. And that's what I do, and I show them everything. I'm not hiding anything. It's just like,
yeah, that's great.
because it's never going to be the same, really.
Right.
You know, but you want to give, you know, people, you know, what you know. You know, there's a few bass players that I taught that are very, very good. You know, you have the son of Clint Eastwood, Kyle Eastwood.
Mm-hmm.
I taught him how to play the acoustic bass and the electric bass, and it was funny. He was playing at the Baked Potato in LA, and I stopped by, of course. And I arrived, and the owner, Justin Randy, was telling me, "Hi, yeah, oh, that guy sounds just like you." I say, "Yeah, that's my student."
Obviously, you learned well.
Yeah, you learn well. Yeah. He sounds like you. Say, "Yeah, that's my student."
Right.
And you have other people that I helped. They're very good bass player, Jason Sheff. The Chicago. You have Marco Mendoza, and I don't even remember so many of them, but
Right.
famous people. This, like to help people to get their thing better,
Sure.
So
Sure, that's awesome.
and they don't sound like me, really, but at all, But it's at least I'm glad I put something to make them better,
Right.
like,
That's great.
to just give them some knowledge somehow, You have to pass it on, That's the whole idea.
Mm-hmm. So we had, before we started this interview, we had one of those moments you can only have at GearFest where we were comparing our fingernails.
Oh, I see. Yeah, well,
I play classical guitar.
Yeah, so
and,
I have only 3 of them,
Right. So how do you use the nails on the bass?
Yeah, well, it's just, as I say, if I would play like a guitar, I would do that using the nail itself. Like if I'm playing some kind of arpeggio, I'm gonna do the, that kind of thing. But when I play the bass, it's just.
Sure. Like a classical rest stroke.
It's always like that. So I basically have the sound of the finger sound. I just have a little edge to it, which I don't have to put too much treble to have the sound cutting. It's
Gives you
much
that
more
attack.
precise.
Yeah. Right.
That's what it is. But unless you're playing the classical guitar, because I actually play nylon string guitar. I wouldn't recommend it because it's really a pain in the neck. You can ask him, take care of it and all that. It's just like if you just play the bass, you really don't need it. You can see there's so many bass players that don't have it. I only met one guy who played with the nails. He plays harp. He's a harp player, so he's got nails as well. I only met one guy that plays, but usually I tell them, you forget it.
Don't bother.
Yeah, don't bother. It's a pain in the neck. All we have to have the right length. You have to, you know what I'm talking about.
I do indeed. They're always breaking.
So
There's always
if
something.
it's just your fingers, they're not going to change. It's perfect.
Right.
The only advantage I have, I don't get any blisters. No
There you go.
blisters. That's about it. So.
Right. Right.
Because the blister is caused by when you pluck, it's bending the thing. After a while, it's kind of burning. But with the nail, it's holding it, so it doesn't do that thing that causes the blister. That's the only difference that you have with it.
Right.
So.
Right. Tell us about this bass you're holding.
Well, that's beside teaching people, I'm actually also designing instrument, and the first company that I design an instrument was actually Gibson. 1986, I made this design, in fact, for Gibson. And Gibson was into Bolton, they made about only 12 of them. Kyle Eastwood has 4 of them, by the way. And if you see him play, well, you'll see it's Bunny Brunel Gibson. It's a Gibson. And it's exactly the same shape as this one.
Okay.
It's the same one. And they were, after 5 years, they were not really producing, so I left the company, and Carvin was interested to do, so they did my bass, but they never really, they wanted to do the headstock, pointy headstock, which I don't really like and all that. They didn't really make the slopes on the bass the way I want it on the back. There's a lot of things they didn't, do it that way that it's, and but there was a great instrument. These people actually do really, really good manufacturing, really high quality.
Sure.
So, but I wanted to have something that is what I designed. So I gave ESP a couple of Gibsons, and they made it exactly right. And on top of it, right here you can see this is the fretless,
yes.
And it's got that special finish that I like to have on the bass. Like there's no dead spot, and on top of it, I can actually slap on the instrument, and it doesn't do anything. You never have, you buy the bass, you never have to redo the finish.
Nice.
For some company, they use like polyurethane and all that. 4 years later, you have to refinish. this thing never goes away. It stays like that. It's like glass.
All right.
And as I say, there's no dead spot and things like that.
Mm-hmm. It's a
the
gorgeous
whole sound
bass.
and it's
gorgeous.
beautiful, you know.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is a fretless one. You can see the fret marks, but it's a fretless. And I have fret marks because people don't understand. If you play the acoustic bass, which I do, we have position. We can see the C's right here, and then you have the back of the neck. You have right the D, and then you have the body to go to the octave. These things to show you where to put your fingers without having lines. The problem with the bass like that, whether you're here or here, there's nothing to let you know. So the only way to really play in tune is to have you know, to have fret marks, you know.
All right, so that helps.
That's why you listen to Jaco, the same thing. He had fret marks, and everything he plays is always in tune. It's not a little bit off. It's always right on, because he's playing with you know, with on the lines, you know. And by the way, if you try to play fretless, you cannot put your fingers totally on the middle of the fret. You will be too sharp. You have to be 3/4 to be right. So you got to practice to put your fingers 3/4 right there. That's where it is. If you go totally up, then you'll be too fast. And too sharp, sorry.
Sure.
You know. But what's funny, if you're tapping, then you have to be on the line. I don't know why. You know. But that's
just the way it works.
That's the detail, yes.
All right. It's absolutely gorgeous, and obviously you.
But yes, it's got this is Aguilar pickups and electronic.
Mm-hmm. So active electronics.
Yes, active electronics, and this is Hip Shot, the company who does the bridge. They are the best, and what they did great is like they made the Fender looking, you know, smaller, so I could put 5 in line. I love it. Because the Gibson design, I had one on the other side, but he made them, you know, this is the same size, but only the head right there is smaller.
Right.
So I think it looks better, because for me the caricature of a bass is that look, you know, that stock. So that's what I wanted, and I have it. That's what it is. ESP, great work, great job, and the price is quite amazing.
It's amazing, yeah.
Yes, and as I say, it's exactly the shape I wanted. So
wonderful.
You know.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Bunny, thanks so much for coming in. We appreciate you taking time away from the GearFest show out there.
Yeah, well, we got to go back over there and do some. We're going to do a clinic and all that, and meet some people. You know, I'm going to go see Larry Dunn, who's doing something
from Earth, Wind, and Fire. Yeah.
Yeah,
and he's a wonderful guy.
Larry Dunn. Yes, yeah. Very nice.
Absolutely.
You know.
Wonderful to meet you.
All right.
Thank you so much for taking time with us.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of GearFest.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for joining me for the Sweetwater Minute. I'm Mitch Gallagher.